going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Not much. Doing well?
Well, yes, sir.
Good. My name is Dan Roberto. I run Pro Connections out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yep. And my name's Christian Wilson out of Next Level Connections in Cincinnati, Ohio.
So I've had the privilege of working with Christian for really the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, as crazy as that is. And really, I'm excited, man, to hear about your journey and some of the things that have motivated you throughout this process. So, first question I had for you, it's like funny because we talk all the time, but really, when you were going through the program, maybe when you first came in or through whatever adversities that you had throughout this process, what is it that kept you motivated to reach the point where we just actually had your director promotion today?
Yeah, I would definitely say just kind of set myself financially free. Also being able to give back the opportunity to other people. I feel like coming in, man, I've always kind of considered myself in a leadership role at some point. I wanted to be my own boss, so now I have a pathway to do it. So I just stayed committed the whole entire time to that journey as well, too.
Did you feel pressure? I like that, by the way. Did you feel pressure? I know that Aaron really set the bar high for you in a lot of ways. Coming down here, you were really the undisputed right-hand person for him when he first launched. Did you feel pressure throughout the process to really deliver for him or just make sure that the office ended up having success?
Yeah, I would say I had pressure, but in the right way. Kind of to make sure that I'm always on top of things, kind of producing at an elite level. I feel like the pressure that I had, it was never so much in like a negative way, more like a positive way, kind of like a chance for me to step up. So I feel like I did feel a little bit of pressure early on, but as I was going through the process, I kind of realized that I'm equipped for this position, and I kind of just kept going as well too.
I like it, man. Yeah. Really, really solid answer.
Yeah,
it's crazy to hear how much you polished over the time. Bro.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I just think a 20-year-old Christian coming in, man. He had a blue, what kind of belt was it? MCM?
MCM belt, yeah.
He had a baby blue MCM belt and some black shoes, man.
Yeah.
And just seemed leveled up, man. Your entire game.
Yeah, for sure. But so my question for you, Dan. So I know you've kind of been a director for a couple years now. We had the privilege of celebrating your vice president promotion at the last conference we had. What were some of the challenges that you kind of faced early on when you first got to the director position?
Yeah, I would say people call it imposter syndrome, but really, I remember when I was brand new, I'd have times where I'd go back like after the field, right? And I'd go in my office and I would just look around and it didn't feel surreal to me. It didn't feel real to me. It felt surreal. It was kind of the point where I just felt like maybe I got to this position through this model, but everything that I'd done beforehand in life, I had either lost or I had either just messed up opportunities in the past.
Yeah.
I felt like this kind of was something that was going to play its course deep down. I knew thinking that way didn't make sense, but I really had a lot of limiting beliefs and I had a lot of fear. I would think, what if I don't manage my money correctly? Or what if I go through a couple months where my business is just struggling? And it doesn't make sense to think that way, because if you think that way, you're going to do the things to make that happen. Really, it was just a battle between me versus me. And I think I just had to face myself because our business isn't hard. It's recruiting, it's training, it's interviewing, it's building teams and leading people. But really, when you believe that you're worthy of stepping into that role, I think that's when you're able to actually do what it takes to step into that role. But really just overcoming myself, man, was my biggest challenge.
Okay, 1000%, man, for sure, yeah.
How about when it comes down to the teams that you've built? So if I think back to the team that you have now, the team that you had when you hit assistant director, it's like I feel as if your teams keep getting stronger. The people that you have, they keep being more committed. What would you say you've learned in terms of growing teams, and how have you gotten better at being able to just develop your people better and just overall just grow a stronger core of people?
I think so. What it was for me is taking more of like an ownership level in terms of where my team's at. So I feel like if my team's not moving effective, it's based on me. If my team's moving effective, it's based on me. So that way, with having that mindset, I try to stay consistent as possible. Also, too, like when I was first building teams, I remember there's a couple challenges that I faced in the beginning of not being able to kind of like train the best effectively. When I realized that it's more on me to reach out for more information to give to my team, that's kind of what I feel like has helped me separate to have a more of a dominant team as I go through, just really learning from more past experiences. So that's kind of what's helped me out a little bit as well too, for sure.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You've gotten better every month since you've done this, man. It's just crazy to me to see you at 21 years old right now, working on this Verizon campaign, bro, and you're just getting better every month with it.
Yeah,
so I'm just excited for your future.
For sure, man.
Really.
So another question that I'm about to ask you is kind of what you asked me a little bit ago, but like, how do you handle the pressure and responsibilities that come with being in a leadership role?
Yeah, I like the quote that pressure is a privilege. It's something that has to be earned. I think that pressure is a good thing, but I don't say the word pressure. Even when I'm like saying pressure right now, I don't think of things that way. I think everything is an opportunity. I think life's about just chasing your potential, just seeing how far you can climb your mountain. I don't really think about me or how I feel though. I think about just helping lead the way for people. Like we have people like Aaron Pate, Louise, Tucker, Brian Peterson, just some of the newer directors promoted this year. Yourself, Lulu. And I just think that if I can be the best me, I'm leading by example and I'm giving everybody else a chance to see that they can be the best version of themselves. So I just think about the people that I lead a lot of times, and when I think that people actually look up to me, I can play a role model role for people. What that does is that just kind of puts me in the position where I know that it's up to me to be my best, and I just kind of do it because it's the right thing to do. So no pressure. I just need to win because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense for sure. Yeah, I feel like just seeing like how you develop your team, it's kind of inspired me a certain way to do the same thing for my team. So I feel like a lot of the ways that I've kind of been developing has been based on what you've taught me as well too. So I definitely appreciate that for sure.
I love that, man. I think that Aaron did a really good job with you. I'm grateful I've been able to play the role that I have. And thinking back to when you're new, it makes me want to ask this question. What advice right now in 2023 would you give somebody brand new coming into our industry? So somebody comes in as a brand new account executive. What would you really tell them? Maybe somebody comes into the org on how they should attack the opportunity.
Yeah, I would say have an all-in mentality. Definitely more of a 2 feet in mentality. I've done this for a while now. I've seen a lot of people kind of come in with like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out mentality. I feel like the way it goes is perception is kind of your reality. So if you feel like this is where I'm going to be in terms of my career path, you're going to end up getting results like that. Versus kind of how I came in when I was new. I kind of remember what it was, just coming in as a kid, making a lot of money. I'm having fun with what I was doing, but I never really mentally committed. So the best advice I would give somebody new is definitely have like a 2 feet in mentality and mentally commit as well too.
I think I like how you just said make a lot of money, because I hear people talk about examples and they say like, oh, there are times you might have low paychecks, or there might be times where you're not where you want to be, but I really think that's just completely controllable. And I've never heard of you ever not making the money, even at the agent level. Like you were 20 years old collecting 15 to 1800 a week on a regular basis. So I just think that's a great opportunity for somebody, let alone your age, but I mean that's just a great opportunity for anybody. What's crazy is that that's entry level in our industry, and now as a director you're seeing obviously the payback for the fruits of your labor. So I like that.
No, for sure. And I know that you have the biggest org in our company right now. So obviously you've demonstrated multiple leadership abilities. So like what would you say are some of the traits or qualities of like an effective leader in terms of the kind of position that we have here?
Leadership is going first. I went to a personal development conference in January, and it said successful people, what they do is they get to the spot before everybody else gets to the spot. They raise their flag and they wait for everybody else to come. And that's how you win in this type of business model. So that's kind of what we're trying to do in terms of Verizon right now. And you always have to know what the next challenge is for you. Because I'm blessed, and not even to even compliment myself, but I was the first regional in OSB history, national, now the first vice president. Thankful, blessed for that. But I think it's because I understood that concept early on, that it comes down to like somebody has to lead the way, somebody has to go first. If I have the opportunity based on how timing or God or the universe has put this together, it's really up to me right now to take on that opportunity and really just do whatever has to be done so that I can grow a massive organization in the future, right? But not because, wow, Dan grew a massive organization. It's so I can show you, so I can show Aaron, Tucker, I keep saying the same names, Brian, but the newer people in the org who I keep thinking of, because that's what I've spent my time with over the last year. It's showing them that if I can grow a massive organization like this, but at the age of 23, I was broke, lost, and confused. And then I'm sitting here today, 6-7 years later, in a tremendous position. If I can do that, there's no excuse in the world as to why anybody else can't. So I think a leader is just going first. Leadership is merely influence, nothing more, nothing less as well. So being able to just do the right thing and show other people the way, that really just kind of motivates me as a person, man.
So you being a leader, right? Because you keep mentioning how you're going first. Was there ever a time maybe like your vision got a little bit blurry when you didn't know maybe what lied ahead? And like how did you kind of combat that as well too?
When I first opened my office, it's really funny, but I moved with a team, and after, a lot of people don't know this, it was 2017. I came from Ohio on Direct Energy, which was dual fuel as a campaign. So every customer that you worked with, you had the opportunity to do 2 sales. Versus single fuel in Michigan. So it was like twice as hard, obviously, to hit the same numbers. And then I moved to Michigan. It was a little bit in Grand Rapids on the west side. It was a little bit predominantly upscale, more affluent area compared to where I was working. And I really got my teeth kicked in, and it got to the point where I went back for Thanksgiving break. I opened in October 2017. by the end of November, I had one person in my office. And I remember there was a day that I went to the field and I walked around from 12 to 7. I don't like this telling the story, but I have to. It was from 12 to 7 p.m. and I had 0 sales. I remember I was like knocking on a customer's door and like I could just feel that they weren't going to answer. I don't know like how. My confidence was shattered. And I was really driving home and I was thinking like, dude, am I really cut out to do what I'm trying to do?
Yeah.
But I think probably the best thing I've ever heard is like, your pain is where your potential lies. And adversity is either a stepping stone or a tombstone. I like that. And then failure is a part of success. You have to fail your way to success. FAIL, fail, stands for first attempt in learning. So when I think of all of that together, I realize that struggling like that was going to make succeeding mean that much more.
Yeah.
It would give success its flavor. So the fact that I was able to grow from a time where I had lost all faith, all confidence in myself, to then a couple months later, I'm blessed and thankful. I had like over $35,000 a month, like income and profit as a director. That just made me realize that if I can go from there to there, why can't we hit the whole next level? So you have to experience lows in life in order to appreciate the highs, because otherwise when those highs come, man, you might take it for granted.
Yeah.
So that's what I think was like the low that made me lose doubt. But every time that I've not been where I wanted to be, I'm grateful because literally I know that I overcame certain challenges, that this is just another challenge and a chance to overcome it.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
Okay, for sure. Because I remember you mentioning, there's like a quote to me as well too, when I was kind of early on. You said you should never want somebody else's success because you don't know what they went through to get that success. So I feel like that kind of ties into the story you just told me right there. So that does make a lot of sense for sure.
Dude, you probably have the best student mentality out of anybody that I've worked with, honestly.
Yeah.
And I really mean
Appreciate
that, man.
that.
I think that's why us working together on
Yeah.
kind of going out there, you said, what'd you say, like a wish and a dream or something? What was your quote?
It was, wishing a dream.
A wish and a dream. And we just had no idea how to do this. We went to a couple offices and we left those offices and we still didn't know how to do what we needed to do. And then you kind of just went on your own figuring it out. But really, like, you probably have one of the best student mentalities. You always find a way.
Appreciate that.
Which is why you're in a leadership position.
Yeah.
How would you specifically describe your leadership style with your team?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely changed a little bit as I know more about what leadership is. So I do a lot more development than I used to do, and I know there's a couple ways to lead a team. So you can lead by personality or lead by example. I feel like when I was early on, a lot of times I would lead by personality, which means people are just attracted to the way I am, so they would follow me. Now I lead more by example, which means I'm going first and setting the pace in a lot of areas. That way my team can expect the same thing for themselves as well too. So I feel like my leadership style has changed over the course of a couple months, just into more of like a dominant leader role. But I think the best way to describe my leadership style now would definitely be more leading by example. I'm kind of stepping out, maybe the days I'm not doing so good, leading from the front, maybe coming back and leading from the front in terms of like running meetings, whatever the case might be. But I feel like now my leadership style is more effective than it used to be. But if I had to describe it in a couple words, I would say definitely leading more by the front, 100%.
I love that, man. I feel like you always do the right thing. When I think of, it's so funny because I see people take their foot off the gas, but I don't think I've ever had a conversation with you, besides one time. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with you where I've like had to push you harder than you were willing to push yourself.
Yeah.
Like when I look at people, a big thing that I've learned over time is you can't want it for somebody more than they want it for themselves.
Yep.
And I don't think anybody in the world wants success more than you want it for yourself, man.
Yeah.
So.
Appreciate that, man. And I know that over the course of the years, you've run like dominant sales office. I know when I first came in, our office got to like #1 office for multiple weeks in a row, even months as well too. What's like your way of motivating your team in terms of having them focus more on sales and like driving more of the revenue with sales as well too?
Yeah, I think not focusing on sales at all is what leads to more sales. And it kind of sounds backwards, but I would always hear Dean would say this. When it comes down to like people actually producing high numbers, there's two different ways. So number one is if they're chasing a paycheck. Number two is if they're chasing a purpose. And that purpose a lot of times is when they're focused on getting promoted. They're focused on doing the right thing. But they're not always just doing the right thing because they want to progress in their life. They're doing the right thing because they're grateful for the opportunity and realizing that there's people who would die to be in our type of position.
Yeah.
We have uncapped commission, man.
Yeah.
We have unlimited earning potential. We have the development, the resources that OSP provides, success stories in the organization. Like we have such a wonderful platform here to be able to go from where we are to where we want to be. I think when people can see the opportunity in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a whole team of people that's moving synergistically that way,
Yep.
what's gonna happen, man, is everybody starts working together, and then you just have a culture of just dominating.
Yeah.
It's just elite. It's just everybody just bettering their situations. Everybody's running off of why power, man. Everybody
Yep.
has a purpose of what they're trying to go. And what's crazy is there's so many companies out there, and it's like success, it's like a carrot on a stick type deal.
Yeah.
It's like, if you do this, you can get promoted. What I love about the way that we move, man, is actually if you do the right thing, you will get promoted in OSP because
Yeah.
we're trying to grow this thing so big. So I think it's everybody seeing opportunity and everybody just knowing that if they're trying to be the best version of themselves, that's how they're going to be able to actually become the best version of themselves.
Right.
It's opportunity that leads to a high-powered office,
Yeah.
bro, every damn time.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. When you first was, because I know you seen the model when you first come in.
Yeah.
At what point in time did you mentally commit? Was it like as soon as you seen the way the business model works? Was it like after a couple promotions?
Yeah.
At what point in time did you like mentally commit in terms of like the opportunity?
I committed right from the jump. So on my third or fourth day, I knew for a fact that I was going to put my all into this.
Yeah.
But my belief and confidence had to catch up with my execution. Something I learned from Amir Abdallah, though, this is probably the best advice, man, for everybody listening to this. If they can really get this down, I swear, bro, your confidence comes from your execution and from your discipline. So you know that you're going to do the right thing every single time. So there's nothing to be afraid of because you would never allow yourself to fail.
Yeah.
If you lose your confidence, you lose everything, man.
Yeah.
So I really think just having confidence, bro, is going to lead to people being able to have success no matter what they want to go for in life. And that's so applicable to our business, bro.
Well, that's fire for sure, yeah. Especially just how you are. I mean, the confidence, you wear it on you, man. It's like as soon as I talk to you, I know you're definitely a confident individual. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
really just kind of completely off topic.
Yeah.
But last thing I really want to ask you, Christian, what drives you and what is your why overall in this business and where are you trying to take this thing? So
Yeah.
you're 21 years old, man. You're heading the campaign. You're the top agent in the energy campaign. You have such incredible potential. I tell you all the time,
Yeah.
bro. Like, I really think you're willing to outwork anybody. Sacrifice to you, like, you don't care how much time something takes. Like,
Yeah.
you'll just do what you have to do to be where you want to be. What drives you, though, and what's your why, and where are you really trying to take your opportunity?
Yeah, so I think what drives me the most is just seeing my parents always work 24/7. So I kind of grew up in an environment where you always go to work. Like you always work, you punch in and punch out, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts. But at the same point in time, they was never really getting like a return on their time, I feel like. So now when I'm in an opportunity where if you give up time now, you'll get time back later, it's so easy for me to just commit 100% and just outwork anybody I possibly can. Because I see my mom go to work and she grinds a lot, my dad grinds a lot, and they're still 40 years old. So seeing that, it kind of showed me what I don't want to be like in like the right way, obviously. So kind of being able to put in a lot of time now to get my time back later is definitely the biggest thing that drives me in terms of working hard. But I feel like where I want to take this, man, is I want to be like the next Dan Roberto if I possibly could. Just having like the biggest org. Kind of doing things that people probably wouldn't expect me to be doing by 27. I know I'm young right now, but like if I have leaders like you, AP, guys like Brian, Shiloh, Mulu, a whole bunch of leaders in the office and stuff like that, I feel like if I just keep learning from you guys and applying information, I mean the sky's the limit for where I'm going to be going as well too, man.
You have an incredible amount of wisdom, not just for your age, man, but
Yeah.
for anybody. And honestly, bro, it's people like you. It's seeing like Aaron today promoting 2
Yeah.
offices, but really just even hearing you talk right now, and I really mean this when I say it, man. This is what inspires me to want to continue to make sacrifices myself, promote more people, and
Yep.
just become more effective, more efficient. So, Christian, I appreciate everything, man.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, and I want to genuinely wish you as much success as you possibly can, man. And congratulations on being promoted to director.
Appreciate
bro.
it, man. Thank you.
Have a great day, bro.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too. Yep.